that down. Let's move on to this. You know, I think Andor season 1 is the greatest thing that Star Wars has done since the original trilogy, right? Like there's Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi, way up here, and then there's everything else. But of everything else, I think Andor has been the best thing they've done. Season 2 has been really good, but quite frankly, to me, a little underwhelming. Like I love episode 3. I loved episode 6. I liked it. I've liked it and enjoyed it overall. I have. I think it's good. But it hasn't lived up to Andor season 1 for me. Until last night, when we got to watch episodes 7, 8, and 9. And I will tell you now that this was the best 2.5 hours of Star Wars since I walked out of watching Return of the Jedi. This was the absolute pinnacle of Star Wars storytelling to me. I could, like headlines like this one too. I love this headline. Andor season 2, episodes 7 through 9. I thought Andor couldn't get any better. I was incredibly wrong. This was not just the greatest Star Wars storytelling I've seen in 30 years. This was some of the best storytelling I've seen on television, period, in a while. I was enthralled from the opening moments of episode 7 right through to the closing moments. Please point that gun away from me. Right to the closing moments of episode 9. A lot of people are talking about episode 8 and the massacre on Gorman. And it was awesome. And it was, you know, Jonathan Voico referred to it as Les Mis in space,
Yeah.
which I said to him, it was kind of like Les Mis. And Jonathan's like, I literally called it Les Mis in space. But then you get into episode 9, which is a completely different drama going on with everything about Mon Mothma making her speech and getting her out of the Senate. And that whole thing, by the time episode 9 ended and the credits rolled, I remember taking a huge breath. And I remember thinking to myself, when did I breathe last? Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, I don't remember when I took my last breath because the credits started rolling. Like, it was peak Star Wars. I have not felt this giddy. I have not felt this enthusiastic. I have not felt this overwhelming joy of being a Star Wars fan like I did watching that 2.5 hours of Andor last night. I have completely changed my mind. Disney, back whatever Spanish bullion truck you need to up to Tony Gilroy's house, and you keep him in the family. Because this is the new standard. And I don't care. Mandalorian is going to suck compared to this. I haven't seen the movie yet. Maybe it'll be Academy Award winning. But I'll tell you right now, I don't have high hopes that Mandalorian and Grogu is going to compare very well to Andor. And it's going to be very, very different. Andor has a very different tone and everything. It's apples and oranges, I understand. But this is the new standard. This is it. And we haven't even had Jedis or lightsabers or anything like that. Just true, riveting, amazing writing, drama with your fists clenched. And I can't even talk straight right now. This was one of the greatest viewing experiences I've had in years. Just sitting down and watching that 2.5 hours last night.
Oh, we're definitely getting a Golden Globe nomination for this one.
Oh, this is going to win. This is going to win. And Matt will get thank you'd. This is, I can't imagine, like, you know me, the last couple of weeks, I've been like, yeah, it was good. The Andor's chapter 1, they were good. I'm a little, holy shit. This was everything I've wanted Star Wars to be. And you know what? Here's the thing. I remember watching the first couple of episodes of Rebels when Rebels first came out. And while I was not this enthusiastic, I remember saying, me and Harloff were on the phone, and I remember saying to Harloff, this is the first time in a long time that I've really felt like I was watching Star Wars. Like, the prequels didn't do that for me. Like, even as good as some of the stuff we've had, I just said, when I was watching Rebels, this is the first time in a long time I really feel like I'm watching Star Wars. And I meant that in a really good way. And then last night was, again, the first time in ages that I really, really felt that. And I was telling Rob that when I was watching the Senate episode, I felt like I was watching the history. I felt like I was watching Star Wars history happening. Like, everything that was happening was vital and important. Even though it was not, there weren't, capital class ships fighting over the planet. No. It was intimate.
Yeah.
It was consequential. It was big yet small. It was masterful Star Wars storytelling. And I don't know how the hell they're going to follow this up next week with BBY1. I don't know how they're going to do it, but all I can say is I'm going to be counting the hours. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Hungryroot. Okay, so I'm sure you guys can all relate to this. Spring hits and suddenly life goes from like 0 to 100. Busy season is officially in full swing over here. And honestly, who's got time to go grocery shopping? That's where Hungryroot comes in. See, because Hungryroot is like having your own personal shopper. I told them my goals and they started curating groceries for me that actually fit my life. Be it smoothies, snacks, salad kits, even ready to eat meals. All clean ingredients, no artificial junk. This week, I got the grilled turkey tenderloin with pesto grilled veggies, and it was amazing. And I got my usual protein-packed snacks. It's like they're learning my taste better than I even know myself. And the best part is, I don't have to waste time driving to the grocery store and wandering the aisles. That's time I can spend doing literally absolutely anything else. Guys, I love Hungryroot. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/Campea and use the code Campea. That's hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to watch. You and I were texting back and forth during it, actually. You had a chance to watch the new episodes of Andor last night. What was your takeaway with it?
You know, Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back changed my life. And I sort of was growing up with them, and I know you feel differently about this, but I thought Return of the Jedi wasn't. I expected Star Wars to grow up with me, and now I realized I just missed 40 years. Now, Star Wars Andor is where I'm at. Like, it finally caught up to where I was as I moved through my life. Because, look, the best fiction, and especially the best fantasy science fiction, you still have to have characters that we as humans on Earth now relate to. And I feel that the problem that I've had with Star Wars is it's leaned way too heavily into fantasy, and it's spun off into oblivion. Where the great thing about the original trilogy is Han, Luke, Leia, even to a certain extent R2 and 3PO, we as viewers identify with them. Luke's a farm boy looking out at the suns,
A dreamer.
wondering, going, can I get away from this place? There's got to be something better in my life. And Han Solo is the cool guy we want to hang out with, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's the weird uncle who's a veteran of foreign wars. And so we had things that was our way into the Star Wars universe. This whole show, I mean, Gorman is essentially France when the Nazis now have marched in, and the way the Empire ginned up its own resistance to fuel so they could have a
And
reason.
its propaganda campaign.
To move in and take over. It was so smart. It was so well done. But when all of these threads got pulled together, the way they're dealing with people, yes, it's taking place in the Star Wars universe, but those people, I got it. I believed in what was going on, and you were completely with them. And other people would say, well, Rob, where's the Star Wars of it all? Quietly, Andor shows it had a better understanding of the Force than anything we've seen after Return of the Jedi. From the beginnings of Star Wars, it's like, well, nobody knows what the Force is. Luke didn't know what the Force was. Han didn't know what the Force was.
It's midichlorians. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, well, it's all, the thing is, it's all gone. Nobody knew what the Force was anymore because it's kind of been forgotten. There are no more Jedi, but the Force surrounds us and binds us. It's always been around us. It's part of the universe. So this idea that you have to be full of midichlorians to use the Force is not what Yoda taught and not what Ben Kenobi taught, because the only movies that understood the Force are Star Wars and Empire. And now finally, we saw that Force healer. She didn't even really know, like you said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But she is part of the Force that surrounds her and binds her and knows how to use it. But she didn't study. She probably studied Force healing, but she knows what she knows. She walks out and meets Cassian and doesn't know why. She's like, I'm drawn to you. I don't know what it is about you. You don't even know what it is about you. But you are strong in the Force, and you don't even know it. To the point when I want to walk and let me see if this works. He doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, well, I don't even know what's going on. He doesn't know what the Force is. And it was beautiful.
Well, destiny was surrounding him.
It was so amazing.
It's so much better than, oh, you're part of a lineage of peoples, and that's why you have access to this magical superpower. No, they're just so not interesting to just have it be tied to blood or cells or something of that nature.
Have a midichlorian outbreak. Get
Yeah.
Skyrizzy.
Hey!
Skyrizzy.
Side effects
is
later.
everything.
To your point with that, I had to rewind because I wanted to hear her again. She made that really poignant comment that most people carry on baggage from their past, and it builds. He moves forward and collects as he moves.
Yeah.
He has such a directed purpose in the Force. It's
And because she understood that about him, and that's what the Force does. I mean, now the Force has become a
Skywalker
fantasy
is he?
trope, man. I loved it so much.
And listen, I think one of the things for me, and again, it's just too hard, and it was so important in the show that it's hard not to talk about it. But Senator Mon Mothma's speech in the Senate
This is all I want to talk about.
could have absolutely just been directly spoken in the U.S. government today. When she talks about there is such a chasm now between this body and truth anymore. And you know that the moment Mon Mothma finished her speech, Senator Palpatine put out a tweet saying she's a total loser. And
By the way, this was filmed 2 years ago.
she's
Yeah,
been
and it was-
mostly wrong about everything.
yeah, she's always wrong about everything. She's a total loser.
It's not true. It's fake news.
Again,
Also,
so it
Taylor
felt,
was in this
and you're right,
episode.
it was filmed 2 years ago, and it hit us. So, but the drama that went on, just about number one, keeping her on the air, like just getting the speech done, and then getting her out was this entirely new drama, and it was like they just found a way of running down a hallway. Was like some of the most tense moments I've felt watching television in a while. Like it was just, oh God, it was so good. It was so good.
There's something else that this show has also done. This show has made the Empire truly frightening.
Yes.
And they started in the first season. The sound of TIE fighters have become terrifying.
They did do
And
the
when
first
you-
season on that hillside.
Yeah, on the hillside,
Yeah.
when the TIE fighter came in
You're
Aldani,
like, oh!
Yeah.
when you saw TIE fighters starting to fly over the
You already-
square,
in
yeah.
Gorman,
You already knew it
and
was too late.
They kept
Yeah.
coming. I mean, every time you heard that sound, and you sometimes heard them off in the distance where you didn't even see them. Unbelievable.
I was wondering if bombers were going to come in, TIE bombers or
Oh
something.
my God, it was so. And then when they finally unleashed the K2SO, and you saw what they were really capable of. This show is so smart. It's so smart.
Well, the real genius, I think, here too is it's not mustache twirling villains. The Empire's filled with humans who are deeply uncomfortable with what is happening, who are deeply uncomfortable with the
Do
choices
you
that the
hear
Empire is
the
making, but
people
are still
sing?
going along with it, right? And you see them going, "Oh, this is an atrocity, but I'm in too deep."
Yeah.
And that's a much more compelling story because that is the kind of thing that would happen in
Yeah.
any type of rebellion,
I'm
any type
trapped.
of political thing. Exactly. And the line though of it's the death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. I had to pause and just sit there for a while. And then be like, okay, I gotta keep going. It's so good. It's so good. This is brilliant television.
Yeah, again, just so well written, so well executed, and the fact that we get to say those words about a Star Wars property is. And then listen, I'm not saying. Don't get me wrong. I don't want all my Star Wars to be like Andor.
Right, I don't either.
I love the high fantasy and adventure, and yeah, I want that Star Wars
Yeah.
too.
I love that I can have this and Skeleton Crew.
Yes,
Like
yes,
that's wild.
And but it's just that, my God, what Tony Gilroy and team have done with Andor, again, just puts to shame everything that has been Star Wars since Return of the Jedi. It's just another level.
Well, you know
so
what's
good.
what's interesting to me is they've really looked at the original trilogy I mean, I think that has been their bellwether or whatever, that looking at the original trilogy, because I keep harking back to that first scene on the Death Star. You know, until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable. The Rebel Alliance is too well equipped. And you see the bickering. And then Grand Moff Tarkin comes in and says, I've shut down the Imperial Senate.
Yeah. We were just talking about that.
The Emperor has dissolved the Senate.
Yeah, with Vader, and don't be so proud of this technological terror
that you've constructed.
And then your sad devotion to that ancient religion has not helped you conjure up the stolen data tapes. That is the entire, I'm sure that Tony Gilroy, like when Nicholas Meyer had never seen Star Trek before and came on, I have to do Star Trek 2, what am I going to do? Tony Gilroy watches Star Wars and he's like, oh, where did this empire come from? How did such an empire rise? And how is it analogous to human history? I mean, that's how great storytelling begins, and that's how great sequels, and that's how great spin-offs and offshoots happen. And he took it to its logical conclusion. I'll bet you that we're going to see a lightsaber next week.
Maybe.
I would be surprised. Well, listen, I think we're going to see the death of Luthen next week.
Yeah, and that's when we're going to see a lightsaber.
And I think that's right. I think that's where we're going to see a lightsaber.
We're going to see a lightsaber next week.
We're going to find out Luthen is a very jaded, angry Jedi.
Yes.
So I don't know. Anyway, guys, we could sit here and talk for hours about last night's episodes of Andor. Question is for you. What did you think about it? I mean, it would be hard for you to have liked it more than I did, I admit, but how much did you enjoy it? Or maybe it didn't work for you. I mean, all art's subjective. Maybe it didn't work for you. That's perfectly okay. But whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.